Alright, this is it. The 11th hour. No more night shifts for us. It's time to finish this thing. We'll go back to the Desolate Hope. Previously, well, I destroyed the rest of the Puppetins, and that means there's only 2 bosses remaining in the entire game. I know this because I'm psychic. A psychic robot, watch out! I'm like Mirad, I could see ghosts. But I had an idea from a viewer that suggested a little bit of a change to my conditional setup. One that gives me a little bit more reliable stuns. I'm going to keep critical hit on charge tweak, but I'm going to change my player turn charge tweak to a 1 second stun. So every time I take a turn with a derelict, that's 1 second of mercy invincibility, because the enemy will be stunned. And that'll be a little bit more reliable than waiting for my critical hits to start running. Also, I don't have any charges, but heck with it, it's challenge time. I really don't want to go back to the training dummy and farm up charges. I'll just grab what I can between now and the final boss, which I really hope isn't some kind of Viren. It shouldn't be a Viren anyway. The rest of the viruses stopped showing up after 3.0. So unless this game's going to throw me a curveball and send me a Viren 4.0, I think it's going to be something else. But we have to talk to the Bio Beta first. He's probably going to talk about humans or something like that. Actually, he's going to talk about Deco. Deco is a video game, which means he perceives things a little bit differently. Like he sees bit counters and power-ups and timers and such like that. I can only look through reality through the eyes of my creator, which, honestly, wouldn't that be coffee at this point? I mean, Deco wasn't an antivirus at first. He became an antivirus later. He doesn't know how to perceive viruses. Well, the virus around here kind of looks like a giant golden guy with globes. He actually looks kind of cool. He's a lot better than you are, I'll tell you that right now. He hates humans. But the better question would be, what do I look like to the viruses? Think about that. You never think about how you look in the eyes of the enemy, do you? I probably look like a block puzzle. A block puzzle that's in space, and it has to be destroyed. Like the wrath of an angry god. Because that's how you're supposed to react to block puzzles. Speaking of puzzles, we're going to have to find our boss once again. Now, remember this area right over here? We went to see the second Puppetin over here? Well, we're not going this way. In fact, we're going to be going to the back way to that. You remember seeing like a wall and a pink egg? We're going there. But you would think the logical way to go to the back end is like it loops around and you have to go through this maze over here. That is not the case. In fact, the way to loop around in this area is down here. You go through this exit, and you end up at the back end of where the heck is his name? The sandbox guy, yeah. There's some people here, too. They're still obsessed about Sample 217. It might be on the surface. But actually, that's a red herring. You cannot find Sample 217 anywhere. So, I'm not going to find your Sample 217, sorry. Maybe you guys should walk out of your simulation and find it on your own time. Me, I'm busy fighting virus things, not finding samples. Speaking of virus, time to finish it off, once and for all. And the penultimate boss just happens to be Viren 4.0! Holy crap, there's a 4. I'm not happy. And that stun is already working. I feel happy about doing that. But he just reset his speed, too. Let's not have that happen again. In fact, I need to get dodges and shields up, like, immediately. Like an immediate. Because this guy is painful. Very painful. I need my fun road. I need at least something to give me power-ups. You know what? I'm stunning him for a while. That sounds like a good idea. And full charge, too. I need to get these minigames running. I need to be getting my charge tweaks going. And also, I kind of lost my revival guy, so Mirad's going to have to serve up some double duty. I just have to get to her so I can store her revive. Oh, hey, Amos, thank you very much. That's exactly what I needed. This guy is actually quite strong, but this stun thing seems to be working out in my favor. He's really, really fast. He hits very hard until you start break virusing him. He still has that very powerful Radion Omega, which could cut through my shields a little bit. And also, well, he's pretty much packing everything else that Viren usually packs, but he's packing a lot more health points, too. This is the most health in a boss so far. In fact, I think he is a little bit stronger than the real final boss. But this is the point where you're going to have to start using quick repairs, your charges when necessary, any kind of stunning ability you have on hand, and maybe invulnerability once in a while, because that really helps out. Neon Storm, pretty much just pump out as much power as you can while keeping him from doing special things. In fact, I shouldn't be hitting the charge button. I should be getting plenty of charge. And also, I need to have my autoplays running. How am I not going to get charge tweaks like crazy if I don't have autoplay? Maybe I should talk a little bit more about my charge tweaks, since this basically has come down to the same fight we usually have with Viren. You can see I have a few more options here. I could actually cap max HP, which pretty much says what it says on the tin. Whatever damage he's set at now, I can hit that button, and that's what his maximum HP will become. You see? Now he has only 80k. And I could also do blindness, which will basically make him miss a lot of his moves for a while. Very useful against a particular boss that you can only fight after you finish the story. Yeah, I know, you were trying to drain me. Where is it gone now? And Burn Poison Enhance lasts a very long time if you charge tweak it. And that just basically improves your ability to unload damage using your fire and poison attacks, of course. This guy's almost dead already. Maybe I should kill him with a charge button. In fact, that's exactly what I did. So, all the Virens are dead. All the Puppetins are dead. The Teratotics and the Nigmanities are also dead, and the Gargarans are double dead. I found a way to find out where they were deleted, and I deleted them from that too. I found them in the registry. You know viruses. They like to get everywhere. And I finally got over 1,000 damage per second. I didn't even pick up any level ups from the last video. And the final file was a flower. Well, the virus is back to this old shtick again. Picking up useless elements. Maybe it was just attacking at random all the time. It was just a dumb virus. And now it's dead. Holy crap! Coffee, did you have a little bit too much of yourself this morning? All through this entire game, he's like, oh yeah, important files. They're so useless, we don't really need to bother with them. And then this flower shows up and he's like, how dare you say it's not important? You're just a lame video game, what do you know about flowers? Holy crap, we really hit a nerve with coffee, didn't we, Nico? Hey, what's going on now? What happened? I didn't kill a virus. Why are we talking to Deco again? A virus is attacking the 5th room of the derelicts. You have to destroy it before it ruins everything. What do you mean, you work so hard? Yeah, the signal is a lot clearer now. We can actually scan this virus. It's not in a simulation. And it's an antivirus. Why were we fighting an antivirus? Oh, yeah, hey, Deco. You remember that meme from a long while back about Doom? Yeah, you are the zombies. So we were the virus the entire time. We were stealing information from the simulations, but why? That doesn't help anybody. Actually, their mission failed a long time ago. Earth was kind of trolling Loon and Finus. They weren't thinking about colonization at all. But then something really bad happened. If only they had a plan to colonize distant planets. Oh well, hindsight is 2020. But what has Coffee been up to this entire time? Well, remember that old salvaging thing that Coffee used to do? He found sample 217. It was a small human embryo. It's been harvested by BioBeta a lot before it went missing. And it was barely alive. It seems like Coffee wanted to save this little thing. Wanted to save her. So that's what the spirits are on about. Her spirit is actually this little embryo. He knew that 4 simulations wouldn't be able to run much longer, but one simulation could run for quite a while. So he started tearing apart the other simulations. But the antiviruses found out. Teratota caught him trying to steal trees. So now he had to go ahead and make his own virus, one that could fight off the antiviruses. But now the head honcho is involved, the defensive network Pulsar. He found out what's going on in Lunan Finus, and he's going to reset that simulation, the Theta simulation, unless we do something about it. It'll kill 217. And then this mission will truly be a failure because we didn't save any humans. He just wants to save 217. So our job now is to actually kill the very thing running this station. Once we kill Pulsar, Lunan Finus is done for. And also, Coffee's been working on a body for himself. Remember those simulations back when we were grabbing them in Mirad's area? He actually had a plan to join in with 217, grow up with her. But if Pulsar is defeated, everything will shut down. But at least we could give a chance to 217. How about it? Well, you know, Theta Simulation has the most highest possibility for saving humans, so... yeah, let's go for it. Even though we're programmed to see what Coffee wants us to see. It's time to fight the final boss, Pulsar. We now know our purpose. Theta Simulation is the only simulation with power left. We're coming for you, 217. No wonder he was keeping it this cold. He wanted to make sure the embryo stayed alive, especially in space, even though space is already very cold. I have questions! But those questions are going to have to wait. Even in the real world, antiviruses look like flying balls of electric fire. And final boss music for the final boss. Please welcome Pulsar. Well, at least we get a new boss this time. And it's time to hurt him like we hurt every other antivirus in this entire game. Actually, we should let him do a few things. He does have his own abilities, but I'm going to make sure I at least have some buffs ready. Yeah, I'll make sure I at least blind him so he doesn't kill us too badly. And I'll get my Neostorm working. He has Puppetin's Terrible Things, which, of course, does exactly what Terrible Things does when Puppetin uses it. As you can see, his stats aren't as high as, what's-his-face's? Viren's. Yeah, that loser. He also has Nigmanity's Cosmic Sponge, which heals him for pretty much all of his health. And he has Vulnera. This is the strongest attack in the game. If you don't dodge it or proto-wall it, it will kill your entire party. Just like that. Instantly. You really have no option. Speaking of which, what happened to all my options with my minigames? Alright, he's pretty much going to repeat things over and over again. He does have Radion Omega too, but I'm going to just make sure he can't do anything anymore. Pretty much standard anti-Viren policy applies here. You need to just unload on him, keep him stunned for as long as possible, make sure we can get our auto charges up, make sure you have your minigames up, and make sure you have that proto wall, just in case a Vulnera happens. You will not have a good time. Speaking in the parlance of another game I'm very interested in. I'm sure some people will get it from that reference. If not, shame on you. It's actually a pretty good game. I like it, and I haven't even played it yet. Enough about that. We're playing the Desolate Hope right now. We're break virusing an antivirus. We're gonna virus an antivirus. We'll turn him into a Trojan. And also I'm gonna cap his max HP whenever possible. Just to make sure he doesn't really do much with his Cosmic Sponge. Otherwise, this guy is just a big meat tank. He could take a lot of damage. Luckily, I could do 1,000 damage a second, so this should be over in about 300,000 seconds, more or less. Give or take. That still sounds like quite a long time, though. So maybe we should talk about these mini-games a little bit, eh? I haven't talked about these mini-games at all. You know, these are actually games in the future. I know this because I've studied my futurology, which is an actual thing. Don't doubt me. Nintendo. Yes, it's still alive, and even in this day and age. Even after the Wii U, which everybody says was some kind of disaster, which I don't agree. I actually have a Wii U. But they kind of got their main guy in charge of video game planning. His last name happens to be Wario. And he just suggested that they should all make games that only last a few seconds. And they went ahead with it. They made actually quite a lot of money doing that. And thus we had Fun Road and Dragon Old West. These are hits in the future. Because people don't have a lot of time. Because they're busy being dead and all. Oh, that kind of brought down my mood a little bit. But hey, look, robots are fighting on the screen. You should enjoy that. This is my one grief about not having enough levels. I'm really tempted to do some level farming just to see how powerful this team can actually get. And then send them after a super boss or something like that. Just to see how quickly we could unmercifully murder things at maximum level. I'm tempted with that. Oh, hey, I have a strike button that was filled up this entire time, and I wasn't using it. No charges for you, I'm sorry. In fact, your max HP has now been crushed, because I did that. I could actually hack his HP and do a little bit of damage directly to him. It's kind of like some Yu-Gi-Oh cards I used to have back in the day. You could do damage to the life points directly. Okay, I'm being a major geek now. Is he dead yet? I want him to die faster. You know what? I'll hack him to death. Ha! You've been hacked to death. I hope you enjoy this, Pulsar. Oh crud, I just remembered. I don't get bits anymore because with the death of this guy is the death of Lun and Finus. The death of all the simulations but Theta. If we could work fast enough. If we could work smart enough. If Coffee gets on the ball, what are you doing standing here watching him explode? Go do whatever you're doing. Jeez. I almost got 2,000 damage per second, though. That's a thing. Finally, Pulsar's been defeated. That wasn't a fun noise. The central network is shutting down. We're gonna have to work quickly. See you later, folks. I hope I did the right thing. And thus is the end of the Desolate Hope. Lunan Finus is now shut down. Welcome to 7 years later. Everything didn't go so well. Here's the message from at the beginning of the game. It at least makes sense now. Here's a message from Coffee to 217. 217 will never know what happened. What lengths we took to ensure her safety. What Alphys used to do with his simulation. He had biodomes. He had a really small simulation. He had a virus in there. I mean an antivirus named Gargarin. He really liked hackworms. Now hackworm isn't even a thing. I have mixed feelings about this. I had to end everything to get rid of hackworm. That's how desperate I was. Malens existed, at least for a little while, in his own simulation where he was a crazy toy maker guy. I guess if you call that existing. I mean, at least he had some puppet people to keep him occupied when the end came. None of these derelicts even saw it coming. Did they even know they were helping out 217 in their own special way? I'd like to think they had. At least in Murad. Murad is in contact with her, at least. We did all of this just to give 217 a childhood. Did our efforts really fail? It kind of feels that way. I'm getting a Five Nights at Freddy's vibe going on. BioBeta wanted to make humans. I'm kind of glad his simulation's gone now. Actually, he was gonna change his idea to making some kind of bird, but then all the power shut off. Sadly, he never got to see that happen. Actually, Scott got a lot of flack for this ending because of a message that was in it. He kind of removed it later. Poor Murad. You were kind of my favorite in this entire game. You spoke with ghosts, or at least something you thought was ghosts. Turns out it was just Coffee talking to a little human embryo dude. At least you could be with the real ghosts now. Maybe there's a robot afterlife for you, after all. Man, this is a real downer ending. This is getting to Mother 3 levels of downer. Was everything going to be okay in the end? Was Coffee successful? What about Deco? Where'd Deco go? He's playing block puzzles somewhere. Or is it really the end? By this peppy music, obviously not. It sounds like we succeeded. Sure, we had to sacrifice all the derelicts and tear apart their simulations, tear apart their parts. Actually, that one little thing right there next to the flashy box, that kind of looks like the power cords you could pick up from outside to give you an extra day. Well, looks like we cobbled up just enough to give 217 and Coffee their own childhoods. It's a happy ending after all, in its own special way. The mission has been a complete success. We saved a human. Which is more to say than any of the other simulations. I have to admit at least one thing though. Scott's animation of humans is a little off-putting. He doesn't do cutesy characters well. Not with his style. Congratulations, guys. You finally get to sleep. The mission is a success. A human has been saved. That's probably what the mission's parameters were changed to, thanks to Murad. And there's Siegfried! Siegfried's okay too! Wait a second. How were there bugs on Lunan Finest for Siegfried to eat? I got more questions now. What happened to Siegfried? I'm concerned. I don't know what's going on with Cyber Coffee, the boy, but he has an eye condition. Maybe that's to denote his robotic or program digital entity compared to 217's actual form. Or any form that she was supposed to take anyway. And of course that moon. I wonder when that moon was going to come into it. Actually, I could see the flower that Coffee was so uppity about, too, in one of those scenes. I wonder if you could spot it. It's okay if you could rewind now. All that's left is the credits. This was the Desolate Hope. It's credits time! It's credits music! Actually, it's just the battle theme over again. It was created just by one guy, Scott Cawthon. He got a lot of flack for that ending because he had a message in it. A lot of people construed it as being anti-choice and anti-abortion. After time, he kind of removed it, but he also went on to say that he dedicated this entire game to all the children that his friends and family had that died during childhood. Obviously, they couldn't have one anymore. Much like 217. I mean, I hope at least she gets to her teenage years and that station finally runs out of power before she reaches the angst period. To be completely honest, I'm not a big fan of kids. Yeah, I'm not a kid person. I don't think Teratodic is much of a kid person either. Look at him, he's a tiki man. These are all the antiviruses we fought through the game. Here's Nigmanity, the first person to invent Hackworm. But she was smart enough not to abuse it. Puppetin was actually the third boss to fight, but he was in the fourth logical area to go through because that Viren was really strong. Gave me some problems in previous playthroughs. Garen was actually the fourth antivirus. As proof, he uses Hackworm a lot. And of course, Viren. A persistent boss that never went away. He had a sun phase. And then of course Pulsar, who really wasn't as awesome as he looks. I like the whole Archangel thing he got going on, but all he had was lots of health, and that Vulnera, which luckily missed my entire party because of Proto Wall. And just a little mini bio on Coffee. He's an autonomous service robot that was actually included on an unmanned mission. Why does he carry Coffee around? Well, he was programmed to. I'm just wondering where they made the coffee. How old is that coffee? I don't think that coffee is safe for any human consumption, or even robot consumption. I'm pretty sure in a few years that could have been oil. But that wasn't much of a credit sequence. All it says is thanks for playing, and shows our completion time. This game wasn't very long. Though, with the way it was built, I'm kind of glad that it was just as short as it was, because that is problematic when you don't have a lot going on in the platformer, and pretty much all you're doing is hunting down bosses and fighting them. Kind of gets dull after a while, so I'd say about 5 arrows runs its course. I had a much higher percentage completion last time though, like 335 or something like that. Obviously, 100% is not good enough for Scott Cawthon. The only two things you can do is reset the game or close it. I'm just going to reset it to say this was The Desolate Hope, made in 2012 by Scott Cawthon, and I was ArmoredChocobo. Good night.